This show is sponsored by Alicia's Pillows and Things. Check out the Facebook page, Alicia's Pillows and Things, where you will find home decor you will not be able to resist at prices anybody can afford. Check out the pillows and stools of your favorite sports teams. Maybe you want a set of your kid's favorite cartoon or movie character. You can also get full body and neck pillows as well. Log on to ngscsports.com and go to the Alicia's Pillows and Things tab on the homepage to complete your order. It makes a great gift for Christmas at an affordable price. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
And that's the end of that chapter.
That was the end of the show. So, children, what do... Oh, it wasn't? Oh!
I thought it was.
Never mind.
Welcome to this Avengers Endgame Spoilercast. Thank you. Welcome to the Spoilercast. If you haven't seen Endgame by now, don't listen to this. But more importantly, why haven't you seen Endgame by now? That's the bigger thing. Edward Green and Wes Bradshaw are bringing you this special bonus pod on the Foreign Fair podcast. We did it for Captain Marvel. We are doing it again now for Avengers Endgame. We also did have an Infinity War blowout cast last year, which was amazing because that movie left us legit shook.
It was balls.
And now Endgame has happened, and all the feels have been felt. Multiple times for some of us. But don't worry, we'll tell you how many times we all cried. One named producer Jackie may also throw in her thoughts at some point.
So I guess real quick, let's just throw in here. If for some reason you clicked and downloaded this and
Yeah.
you haven't seen Endgame,
Please.
and you don't want spoilers, here's your countdown. 3, 2, why the hell did you download this if you hadn't seen Endgame? 1, from here on out, folks, we're giving spoilers, and okay, because it's not spoiling. This is a review.
Yeah. What a movie.
God.
Fuck, what a movie.
And there are still people out there who are bitching about it, but that's just normal. Everybody bitches about something. People bitch. But they can kiss my ass.
I have big questions about how time travel works in this movie sometimes.
I don't understand time travel at all. Let me quote Scott Lang.
Yeah.
So Back to the Future was bullshit?
Yes. I like how he drops Die Hard at one point. Like it's a
Die Hard.
I was like, that doesn't work.
No,
It's like,
Die
why
Hard.
would you think Die Hard works? Scott Lang
Maybe
is
that
nuts.
was just a throw out to Jake Peralta.
Maybe it was. Oh, what a great movie. So I guess let's start at the beginning. This takes place after Infinity War, which when we last left our heroes, they were, yes, thank you, they were snapped. Some of them, half of them, were snapped out of existence. If you really want to feel bad, because of the way the end plays out, there was something that clicked with me earlier today. Do you remember Ned from Spider-Man?
Yes.
He got dusted.
Apparently.
Do you remember MJ?
Yeah.
She got dusted.
Apparently his entire high school got dusted.
Well,
They
yeah.
all showed back up for school.
Exactly. That's when I didn't realize it until today when I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, if they're still in the same class, that means they both came out. And that means they both died 5 years ago. So have fun thinking about that. Ned writhing in agony as he gets turned into dust. You're welcome. Now,
See, but you say that, but you don't know that there was any agony because none of them really screamed.
Yeah, I mean,
did you see Peter Parker die? I'm sorry.
That was more of a panic attack than...
Okay, so maybe not agony, but like clearly panicked. Also, he bites it in the worst way. He gets it the worst of literally anyone. because his goes on for a while, whereas everyone else is kind of like 2 seconds and you're gone. Peter lasts for, oh boy.
You can see the fear and
it's bad.
It's terrible.
And our
it was
heroes
terrible,
have
terrible.
lost. And as Tony Stark angrily says, and takes out his anger on Cap about all that, we'll lose together. Yeah, we fucking lost.
Yeah, I can understand where Tony was coming from, but Tony was a little overboard with it. But that's Tony. That's just Tony Stark.
Tony went mental. Of course, Tony Stark and Nebula having to come back from Thanos' home planet after they were left there at the end of Endgame. Eventually,
I think as everyone saw in the previews, a part that was legit from the previews.
Yes.
Basically, the movie starts with him giving his goodbye message for Pepper.
Yes.
And then he kind of drifts off to sleep, and all of a sudden a blinding supernova, which the first time I saw it, I hit the point and went, it's Marvel, it's Marvel, it's Captain fucking Marvel.
Brie Larson shows up to save Tony Stark. And
long hair Brie Larson,
yes,
by the way.
for a while. Brings him back, basically carries the ship all the way back to Earth. Gets reunited with Pepper. Nebula and Rocket share a very nice hand-holding moment. As somebody pointed out, not unlike Drax and Rocket shared after at the end of Guardians 1, after Groot. It's hard to say he dies, because he does come back, but...
Well, he never died, but he was pruned.
Yes.
Which, by the way, I completely agree with what so many people have said. Vin Diesel's greatest acting performance to date.
Well done.
Golly,
Well done. Screw Triple X.
Jesus Christ.
This
he
was the
brings
best.
it, man.
He really
Vin
does.
Diesel brings it.
He really does. So they come back, and now it's the rest of the Avengers that are still left are like, well, we got to try something. And Tony's like, nah, we really don't, actually, because we lost. But the Avengers, they do manage to figure out where Thanos is, thanks to him using the Infinity Gauntlet another time, which, as we later learn, was him destroying the Infinity Stones. We did not know that at the time. The Avengers head out, sans Tony, to go to where Thanos is and confront him and try to get him to undo what happened. That was also a part in the trailer. That was when that popped up with Steve giving the line, "It has to work." I was like, we're like 15 minutes into this 3-hour movie. How are we already at this part? And of course, then we get to the planet, and in one of the best moments ever, and I love when stuff like this happens, we see Thanos, and he's just sitting there, and then all of a sudden, just BAM! Here's Captain Marvel. And then we try to do the thing that we try to do to him on his home planet, where everybody just gangs up on him and tries to hold him down. And
It actually kind of worked.
Yeah, it did. For the second time, it worked until Quill fucked it up the first time. And then this time, it's like, oh, no, the stones are gone. And then Thor throws a little bit of a temper tantrum and cuts off Thanos' head. Legitimately shocking moment.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because you're sitting there in a movie and you're expecting all this, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck just happened?
I want
and
the big
then there's
fight.
like blood spray all over
Yeah.
Nebula's face, which I just thought was perfect. That was awesome.
Oh man, that was. But you're like, I want my big fight against Thanos where we win, but he's dead now. Just gets head clean cut off, and then Thor just walks off. Just like, peace, guys.
And then it's Avengers time, Ed.
Yeah. The movie actually starts.
Under 10 seconds.
Thank you. So then it cuts to 5 years later, and we get introduced to one of the producers who was talking with Cap about.
There were actually a couple. Or there was a producer, and then there was somebody else in that too.
One of the it was someone who had done work on an Infinity War comic was also in there, in a group meeting of how do we move on, with half the world's population being just killed in an instant. How do we move on from here? And it's like, I don't know. We see Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow leading some troops using that great technology with the holograms that we first saw in Winter Soldier, when Fury was communicating, as well as Alexander Pierce, who's the first of many people who comes back in this movie. We see her back with red hair, as her natural red hair is coming back, just the little tips of blonde at the end. We see Captain Marvel with her new haircut, the very modern Carol Danvers look for her.
I'll tell you, Ed, I took one look at Captain Marvel there, and I knew that she just needed to speak to a manager.
Yeah.
Well, and something that we kind of found out, I guess maybe it was out there beforehand, but I just kind of found it out. Apparently, she filmed all her scenes for Endgame before ever filming anything for the Captain Marvel. And a lot of people have kind of, panned her performance. But, if you kind of look at it, she's getting dropped in here. And, she seemed like she really grew during the Captain Marvel movie as an actress. I'm not the biggest Brie Larson fan, but I had no problem with Brie Larson in this movie. Come on.
I thought she was fine. And it's not even like she was in it that much. She's literally in it for the first, 15 minutes when they go to Thanos. Then she fucks off and goes to other planets because, as she mentions, she's got to help other people because other planets don't have Avengers. So that was good. But then we realized that we didn't even talk about how the movie started. How the movie actually started.
Oh, Jesus God. My favorite, probably my favorite Avenger, actually.
Yeah, Clint.
Is Clint Barton.
Oh. And as soon as he pops up, you're like, oh, his entire family's about to eat it.
Oh, yeah, he just knew.
Oh, no. Oh, is this how we're starting it? Yeah, this is how we're starting it. So we do get a little hint from Black Widow that Clint is on the loose and is killing a lot of people. So that's all going down. And then the absolute MVP of the entire movie, Mr. Rat, comes and hits some buttons.
Mr. Rat save the universe.
Mr. Rat saving the universe, one button push at a time. Comes out, brings back Scott Lang from the quantum realm where he had been since the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's okay.
And what we will find out later was 5 years.
Yes.
But to him was 5 hours.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's why Michelle Pfeiffer still looks so good at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I want to work on Michelle Pfeiffer.
So that was and he's of course freaking out because he comes back to a San Francisco that is literally been through Armageddon. And it was kind of interesting because somebody was like, before you know what time, how long he's been in there to him, if you were in the quantum realm for 5 years, you lose your damn mind. But if you're only in there for 5 hours, you're kind of okay.
It's kind of like, shit, what's going on down here?
Yeah. So he comes back, has one of the scenes we saw in the trailer where he shows up at the Avengers compound, talking about, hey, hi. That was pretty good.
Me.
It's me.
Scott Lang.
It's me. We met that one time.
Yeah.
Remember? I was big at the airport.
God, that airport is the best.
Just want to throw out once again. I mean, when you get them all together, what a fucking cast.
Yes.
What a cast. I mean, Paul Rudd is the ultimate, supporting additional guy. And yet he did great leading Ant-Man. I mean, it's just so great having Paul Rudd as, the number 8 guy in your movie.
It's a big stable. It's a big stable.
It's fantastic.
So he comes up with an idea of, hey, we can use the quantum realm to travel through time. And so we meet Banner as the Professor. Professor Hulk. He's somewhere in between full Hulk and Mark Ruffalo.
He worked to get to that level.
Yeah.
So
he's also very accepting of Hulk status. Takes some pictures with some kids who do not want to take their picture with him.
Stick a goddamn phone.
Oh, that was a great moment. So they eventually do go try to see Tony because Tony also might have an idea of how to go do time travel. Doesn't want anything to do with it. Has a 5-year-old daughter.
So cute.
Morgan. Found out Morgan in the comics is the name of one of Tony Stark's asshole cousins.
What was he calling her? He was calling her something else. Maybe it was just her nickname.
Do you remember? So I don't know.
Morgana,
something like that.
Maybe that was it.
Yeah.
It took me a little while to figure out. Wait, what's this kid's real name?
Yes. So we do meet her. We also do see a piece of tech that will come later on in the movie.
Right.
So that will come later.
Right.
But we see Tony's happy. He doesn't want anything to do with the Avengers.
Gone. Well, as far as Tony Stark can, he's gone off the grid.
Yes.
I mean, he hasn't cut off all his electricity or anything, but he's living in this beautiful house by the lake and calm and serene and peaceful, and him and Miss Potts are married with a little girl, and I mean, he is living the dream.
He's living his best life.
He's living his best life. Good for Tony. No longer just banging random dime pieces. Tony's living the good life for Tony.
Yeah, he is.
And you can totally understand why, Tony would be hesitant.
Oh,
because, where a lot of other people were affected by it, Tony was extremely lucky, and his core's there.
Yeah. Why do I need to go risk my life? And not only that, but the way time travel can work, if you screw something up, this life you have now that you're very happy with no longer exists.
Right.
So I completely understand his hesitation.
Even though apparently it did. But we
can get to that. We learn he teaches his kids shit. That was great.
That was funny.
But Tony does actually figure out how to do time travel through the quantum realm.
Because at the end of the day, Tony Stark can't stand not being the smartest guy in the room.
No, he has to be.
He has to be the smartest guy.
He is Pep Guardiola.
He is Pep, and he overthinks shit.
Yes,
as we've seen many times.
Yes, but he does bring this to people's attention
similar facial hair.
Yes, not bald, thankfully. Beautiful head of hair. But he does bring it up to Pepper.
I mean, if we're gonna talk about features, we gotta talk about America's ass.
Hey, we'll get to that.
We'll get to America's ass.
Don't you worry. We will get all up in America's ass.
We'll leave that on that side of the room. Okay.
But he does have a conversation with Pepper, and what has become a theme since Iron Man 3 with Tony is this idea of rest. And she kind of asks him, would you be able to rest knowing you have this knowledge and that you could help a lot of people? But because he's like, I could just, put a pin in this, I could throw it out in the middle of the lake and be done.
No one would ever know.
No, but he would know.
He would know.
And so
it's one of those, it would definitely weigh on his conscience or weigh on anybody's conscience. Mm-hmm. Of course it would.
Because Tony now has a conscience.
Yeah, exactly. As we said, he's quit drinking all the booze and banging all the dimes.
Big arc from Iron Man 1.
Actually, have started the entire everything over again because our biggest fan, one of our two biggest fans, my mom,
oh my god,
wants to know what I'm talking about now. So actually, the only ones she had ever seen, she says she's seen all 3 Iron Man movies. I'm like, okay, whatever. Okay. But we have gone back and started from the beginning chronologically. Now I actually missed one because chronologically now Captain Marvel's second.
Yes.
So we have watched Captain America this week. We watched Captain America and we watched Iron Man. I was like, oh shit, we gotta watch Captain Marvel next. So so I got to get up and get the Captain Marvel in there.
Oh,
but
that's interesting.
So I'm kind of getting to take that little trip now that I know how everything ends, and I'm picking up all these little things. Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's the references.
Just from First Avenger, Captain America, and Iron Man. It's just like. And it's like my mom's sitting there watching, and I'm like, just remember that.
Yeah,
just remember that.
Just remember literally all of this.
Just remember that.
So he does head back to the Avengers compound and in a very nice car, of course. Gives Cap back a shield, and is like, let's do this. And so they start breaking down, the plan. Of course, we also need to get the band back together. So we got to go find Thor, who is in New Asgard. We find out New Asgard is now on Earth. The rest of the Asgardians who are not decimated by Thanos at the beginning of Infinity War.
And survived the snap.
Yep. They have our New Asgard. We see Valkyrie.
We do.
Good old Tessa Thompson is back. Always good to see her.
And as we saw in the preview, she's going to have a leading role with Thor himself
I know,
in Men in Black.
which is so weird.
Yeah, I'm sitting there. I was like, oh, well, would you look at that?
It's like a side story. I mean, you can just treat it as a spinoff.
Basically, Asgard comes to Earth and becomes Men in Black. So.
Very weird. So we go to the Asgard village, and we go find Thor, who doesn't come out a lot,
Right.
because he is getting very drunk with his friends.
Yes.
Yes.
I can't remember their names. What's the guys from
Kjorg
Ragnarok?
and I don't remember what the insect bug's name is.
Yeah.
And of course Kjorg, voiced by Taika Waititi, who directed Thor Ragnarok.
Right.
Also, you know what else he directs?
What was that?
What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, I love What We Do in the Shadows.
So there you go. He voices Kjorg, who gets called a dickhead while playing Fortnite, and so Thor has to deal with that. As we see Thor in his, what we can, I think, lovingly call a dad bod. He has put on a few pounds, and let the hair grow back out. And so the guys have to convince him, like,
or as he is later called, Lebowski.
yes, Tony calls him Lebowski.
When he goes completely 100% Lebowski.
Oh, he's not. I'm not Lebowski. I'm the dude. Still a great reference. So they got to go bring him back, and he swears he's fine, but obviously, killing Thanos and not being able to bring everybody back, has very much weight on his soul. And he is definitely not the warrior he was. So he's looking for a purpose, and so he eventually does decide to come back. And so the band does get back together, and they hatch this plan to, it's a time heist. We're actually doing a time heist.
A real time heist. It was amazing.
I can't believe we fucking called it a time heist. Because that's so great and so dumb at the same time. So the plan is, hey, what if we went back in time and stole the Infinity Stones so Thanos can't get them, so Thanos can't do the snap, and then we can get the stones, put them in our own Infinity Gauntlet, and we can bring everybody back.
Brilliant.
It's a brilliant idea.
Love it.
As Thor describes, where to get the, I believe it's the Reality Stone? The red one.
The Ether.
Yes, the Ether. Yes.
Yeah. I think it was Reality Stone, yeah.
Where they have to go, his former girlfriend, Jane Foster, who it went into her, and they don't really talk anymore. So they hatch the plan where one group will go to Vormir to get the Soul Stone, which nobody apparently knew what that would entail. Thanks, Nebula.
I don't think Nebula exactly knew.
I guess she didn't. Then two of them will go to Asgard to go get the Ether as well as the Tesseract. Or not the Tesseract. There's a second one. They get there. Isn't? No. Okay.
No.
So they just go to get the Ether.
Right.
One group goes to Vormir as well as the planet Peter Quill goes to.
Maga.
Yeah.
Maga.
Is that a planet?
Maga.
That was a great bit. Is that a person's name? Is that a planet? So they have to go where Peter Quill goes to start Guardians of the Galaxy 1, which we'll get to in a minute. And then there's 3 stones on Earth at once, and it was the Tesseract, Vision's Stone, and then what's the Time Stone?
Right. That was in New York.
Yes. So
3 in New York.
3 in New York, 2 in space, and 1 on Asgard. Rocket and Thor.
Morag.
Yes, that's what it was. Rocket and Thor go to Asgard, which I'm not sure. They divided these teams really weird in some instances, which I guess I get why Thor has to go back, because Thor was there for Thor 2. But it does, with his emotional baggage, he then sees his mom, Renee Russo, welcome back to Marvel, and has a mental breakdown, which leaves Rocket to have to go, which I can't tell, he has to go get the Ether from out of Jane Foster, as played by Natalie Portman. Couldn't tell if Natalie Portman actually shot new scenes for this movie or not.
Couldn't tell myself.
I didn't know, because I thought she was pretty much done after after Thor 2 kind of took the Hugo Weaving way out
Right.
and was like, "Don't ever call me again."
Yeah, that was kind of shitty.
So
I mean, and real quick, just something, just to say, for Natalie Portman, it's like, damn, do you regret maybe walking away from this? You know who made the two guys who made the biggest mistakes
Who's that?
of all in this entire Marvel series?
Ed
Ed Norton.
and
Fucking It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp. Terrence Howard.
oh yeah,
Because of
Maybe
course I
next
watched
time.
I watched the first Iron Man, of course, the other night, and there's Terrence Howard. I'm like, yeah, that's Rhodey.
Yeah.
For the time being.
Yeah.
It's like, and then Don Cheadle's just going to rake that cash in for the next decade.
Oh my God, big miss.
It's like, how do you feel if you basically go, oh, I don't want you.
Natalie Portman did actually go to the Endgame premiere, so good for her. So that hijinks ensue because Rocket then has to get the ether himself while Thor connects with his mom, which is a very touching scene.
It is,
And
because Thor gets closure.
yes, and that is a big
And
deal.
a little later, I'm gonna make a very mature point about Thor, because Thor was kind of seen as like the comic relief almost of
Yes.
this movie, but really, there's a lot more to this that we'll discuss when we get to a little later part.
Sure. So that's one journey. The other journey. So the second one is Rhodey and Nebula go to Morag along with Clint and Natasha, and then Clint and Natasha get on the plane and go to Vormir, while Nebula and Rhodey stay around to knock out Peter Quill, so they can get what I believe is the reality gem. Yes.
Is that the reality? I thought
I
the
think it's-
reality was the one Thor got. It was the purple one.
Yes, it's the purple one, if we do remember that. Which leads to another great moment in the movie when I don't remember where I think they might have been on New York to do the scene transition. And then we hear
Power Stone.
Yes, Power Stone.
I've got them all up now, so when we
Excellent.
can't remember, I've got them.
We hear the opening bars to Come and Get Your Love, which calls back to the opening of Guardians of the Galaxy 1. And then we do another great thing where we tilt the camera just a little bit off, kill the music, and see how big of an idiot Peter Quill actually is. If we didn't already know. It just because watching him dance around and sing this song badly with no musical accompaniment makes him look like such an idiot. And it's so and
There were multiple times in this where someone just looked at Nebula and said, "This guy's an idiot."
yes. Yep. There will be a second one in the final battle.
Poor Quill.
Yeah.
Poor Quill. He can't even defend himself
He
here.
really can't. And then so he gets easily
Shit
knocked
on
out.
Yeah.
Then Rhodey has a great line where he's worried about booby traps because he's obviously seen an Indiana Jones movie.
Damn right. He's seen Indiana Jones and has probably been to the show in Orlando. And it's great.
But they do end up getting the Power Stone. But then Nebula realizes that she and the 2014 Nebula are linked up, and then the Thanos of 2014, who is still alive, along with Gamora, before Gamora has her change of heart, they realize that someone is out to grab all the Infinity Stones. And so now they have to go and take care of that. So they head to Morag, and these names are confusing, to go deal with that. While this is going on, the rest of the Avengers are back in New York. It's Lang, Tony Stark, Steve, Bruce.
It was just those four.
Just those four.
Yeah.
So they try to, during the Battle of New York, try to steal all the stones. We get a bunch of great moments. We get Bruce
The ancient one.
half-heartedly hitting stuff on his way down the street, like,
You know, a lot of people have bitched that they, quote, pussified Hulk in this movie. But the thing is, no, Hulk evolved.
yes.
I mean, Hulk was still capable of great feats of strength, but also Hulk was more there for his mind at this point.
Yeah.
So,
Well, he's the professor.
people just gotta chill out.
Like, I mean, he keeps an entire building, like,
Yeah.
lifted up towards the end. We'll get to that, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, shit.
Oh, it's so stupid. So they have some funny moments there. We get to see the end of Avengers 1 when they surround Loki.
Right, the stuff we didn't see.
Enough posing. Let's get this on.
But seriously, now, God, I mean, I'm guessing that they had to go back and shoot all this, or unless they were shooting the shit like 8 years ago and thinking what they were going to do. I wonder. I really wonder sometimes. But at the same time, man, if they went back and shot a lot of this shit, then man, they did an awesome job making them look at,
They have some great digital effects. We get a great scene where, and a callback to Winter Soldier, where Steve enters the elevator with all of these same Hydra agents, Rumlow, Sitwell, and the other goons that are exactly the same.
Those other guys, yeah.
And you're like, are we just actually all going to fight it again?
And then when the dude reaches down and puts his hand on his gun, oh man, I'm like, oh my god, what's going to happen?
We're actually going to do this whole elevator fight again.
Which may actually be the best fight of the entire Marvel series.
It's really good.
God, it was so
really good.
That elevator fight was amazing.
But we don't. We subvert it.
Because Steve Rogers uses his newfound knowledge.
Yeah. Hail Hydra.
Turns and says, Hail Hydra.
Which was, of course, as some of you may know, was a somewhat controversial turn Steve Rogers took in the last year or two in the comics, where he is a Hydra agent, but he's actually like a triple agent, so it's fine. But so, great nod to the comics there. He takes it. We also get, as one name producer Jackie talked about earlier, America's Ass. America's Ass.
When Tony Stark decided to tell Steve how his original uniform did nothing for his ass.
Yes.
And then Scott Lang with one of his classic quotes. I don't know what you're talking about. That's America's ass.
And then we get another great, as the two Steve Rogers fight it out on the catwalk trying to get the scepter. We get a very great line where old Steve Rogers says, "I can do this all day," and modern Steve Rogers goes, "Yeah, I know you can."
And then modern Steve Rogers pulled out his own line when his ass was on his back and about to get decimated, and he said, "Bucky is alive."
This is smart.
Oh, and of course that shocks old Steve Rogers, and he touched him with the scepter and put him down.
That is America's Ass.
And when he reminded, when he reminded us Bucky was alive, I was like, "Oh, fucking Winter Soldier, where are you, bro?"
So we start getting a bunch of all the cameos start happening. Again, we do get Alexander Pierce, Robert Redford coming back. Cheers to that.
And we have Loki in this whole thing, which we have.
Yes,
really
which hey, man,
guess what? Disney Plus.
That's pretty weird that Loki made off with the Tesseract. It's almost like they're setting him up for his own TV show
on Disney Plus. Which, where can you hear about Disney Plus? Well, obviously, the regular episode of this week's on this sports podcast.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So Loki just kind of fucks off with the Tesseract, which means we got to go back even farther.
Well, at that point, they hadn't even thought of that.
Yes.
At that point, we were just fucked.
Yes. We were actually fucked.
You
because Bruce did end up getting the Time Stone in a talk with the Ancient One.
That was really good.
Tilda Swinton coming back.
Tilda.
Good to see her back.
Oh, and when he breaks out the part where Strange willingly gave over the Time Stone, that just hit her so hard because she's like, well, then I have to give it to you because if he did it, he's meant to be the best of us. So if he did it, maybe I messed up.
Yeah. Maybe he had a really good reason. Yeah. Also, we find out because it was like, well, in the Battle of New York, what the fuck was this Ancient One doing? It's like, oh, she was just doing her thing.
She was protecting the
Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah, the Sanctum. Yeah, whatever it's called.
Yeah, so she was good with that.
Stuff than me.
But so she does end up giving him the Time Stone. So we do have 2 of the 3.
Uh-huh.
We can't get the 3rd, so we're fucked in the A. But
I like how you said fuck and then
fucked
just
in the A.
And then just shorten up the lesser of the curse words.
Exactly. Yeah. Hey, we're gonna do more time travel.
Because
we can just keep going backwards. It's fine.
It's very true. And not only that, but we're like, but wait a minute, how will we get back? Well, wait a minute. Hank Pym was there, so we can get more Pym particles.
Hey, and that means we get to see...
Holy shit, real quick. The digital work that they did to make Michael Douglas look like a young human being, holy shit, because that's an old motherfucker right there.
Mm-hmm. Hey, they because I think it was also the beginning of the first Ant-Man movie. They had to do it as well.
Yeah.
And of course, they did it to Sam Jackson for Captain Marvel. But yeah, props to whoever does that for these Marvel
Michael Douglas has looked like he's going to die for like the last 10 years.
Yeah, he looked great.
Yeah, God. I bet Catherine Zeta-Jones. Oh shit! Why did I marry this guy?
So
Can I go back in time?
we got to go back to New Jersey in the 70s. We get our last Stanley cameo ever. I assume. Because we don't know. Maybe there's one in the new Spider-Man movie.
Maybe there's one in.
But probably not.
Yeah, that was cool though, man.
So yeah, we get
Stan one
theater
more time.
gave a nice clap for the last Stanley cameo. But we got to go to New Jersey, which we haven't been to since Winter Soldier. Going back to Winter Soldier. We go there in
Winter Soldier. That's one of the absolute best ones. That's why.
It is.
You realize how good the quote Captain America movies were? I mean, because you have First Avenger, which obviously was good. It was one of the first ones. I mean, now it hasn't aged quite as well.
Yeah.
But at the time, it's like shit.
Yeah.
So First Avenger was fine.
Winter
Soldier's off the
Civil War,
fucking hook,
right.
and Civil War still might be the best of them all.
It might be. It's
Civil
really
War
good.
still might be the best of them all. So.
Oh, that's so good.
Don't try to bring Black Panther up. It's great, but it is not Civil War great.
But anyway. It's really good.
Let's don't get off topic.
So we got to go back to the 70s to New Jersey, where Hank Pym is working on Pym particles, so we can steal some Pym particles. But also the Tesseract is getting worked on by Howard Stark.
God, when I saw that, man, I was being like, "Oh shit, that's Howard Stark."
Also, for 1 second, fucking Armin Zola is in this movie. Like, 1 fucking second he's in this movie. It's this movie's so weird.
By the way, just to throw something else in there real quick, just because we do shit like this. Some other quick cameos that happened was one of your favorite shows, Community.
Yes.
Ken Jeong was Ken Jeong was in there.
Yep.
As the security guard when Scott Lang got the van, and here in New Jersey.
Yeah. Yvette Nicole Brown.
Yvette Nicole Brown's in there.
Yeah.
And she almost blows the whole damn thing.
Yes, thank God.
Jesus.
Oh,
She
Yvette.
just did
Damn it, Shirley.
Damn it, Shirley.
So that was great. So they eventually do sneak down. Steve goes to get the Tesseract. Or sorry, he gets the
Pym
particles. Tony goes to get the Tesseract. He does, but of course, before he can get out, he runs into his dad. Thankfully, Tony had that MIT badge from when he went in Civil War to go speak at MIT. So he had that visitor badge, so he was able to do that. Goes with my last name of Potts now, apparently. Howard Potts.
And then, if that's not emotional enough, then Cap has to duck into an office when Yvette Nicole Brown's trying to get everybody in trouble here.
Damn it.
And oh my God, whose office does he pop into?
Of course.
Agent Carter.
Of course it's her.
And
it had to be
It
her.
was just, I was sitting there going, wait, what's he about to do here? I mean, what's his play? What's his play?
His play is to do nothing.
Well, he can't do anything.
He can't.
But I mean, that was just, like I said, just watching the original Captain America movie this week suddenly has me, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, help me, Jesus.
Oh, Peggy.
Oh, Peggy. My name Peggy.
Oh man, so that's a big
Yeah,
moment
it was so gorgeous.
where, because at least Tony gets to talk to his dad, even though it's not as himself. Steve can't talk to Peggy because Peggy knows what he looks like.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit, yeah. That would have been all kinds of shit.
That would have been really bad. So they do eventually sneak out, and then one of the biggest pops I had for cameos, because I never expected it, because he's never been in a damn Marvel movie. James D'Arcy as Jarvis.
Yes.
I was like, what? But you've never been in a movie. He was only in Agent Carter on ABC. He was only in the TV show.
But I mean, that's how it had to work, man. This brought everything together. I mean, this
Literally
brought
all the
so many
Warriors.
lines from everything, man.
Oh my God.
It was the end game, man. It had to bring everything
It was
together.
so cool to see him, though.
Had to bring everything
So cool. So they do get out. And then, so now we go back to space. Nebula gets captured because Thanos and his goons scramble or do something to Nebula's time matrix device. So she can't return with Rhodey to the present. And then she gets captured by Thanos. And then Clint and Natasha get to Vormir. And see Red Skull.
The first quiet sob of the movie comes out.
Yeah, this is brutal, and so it then becomes and Clint has a nice line of, I don't think we're talking about the same. I don't remember exactly how it says that. I don't think we're talking about the same
He said it,
person
yeah.
here now, because they're both saying goodbye to each other,
Right.
And it's like, no, I'm going to be the one to jump off the cliff.
Right.
And it's like, no, me, I sacrifice. No, I killed all those people. Yeah, but I killed all those people back then. So a lot of, as Natasha said in the first Avengers, a lot of red on her ledger, as we went to. So they fight it out to see who dies, which is weird, but also really sweet and endearing. But it is eventually.
Hey, Budapest.
Yeah, it's not Budapest. It's never Budapest anymore. Natasha is the one who eventually does bite it.
Gains the upper hand, I guess?
Yes, gains the upper hand
in the battle
by letting go. So, and then Clint wakes up with the Soul Stone. Real quick, we can tangent off something that one name producer Jackie brought up after watching the movie, and we I think we'd like to get your opinions on it. What is your opinion of the Natasha Clint relationship? Because obviously they are very close.
I don't think there was ever any romantic.
Right.
I don't see that anywhere. I see it almost as whatever happened in Budapest, which, by the way, I think we're going to find out because
Hope so.
we'll talk about
Disney
it a little
Plus.
later. Disney Plus. Well, no, this
Or-
is just going to be a standalone movie.
Yeah, could be.
This is going to be Phase 4.
Yeah.
So, we're going to get a Black Widow movie that's going to tell us what happened. Apparently,
so.
Hopefully, we'll
This
see.
is before we knew who she died. So
Yeah, so
Not that, I mean, we'd have to go to the past anyway.
yeah, it's going to be a flashback movie, but I think whatever happened, Clint straight up saved her life. Which, I mean, she was a KGB agent.
He was supposed to kill her.
Yeah,
and
he was supposed to kill her, and he didn't. And I think just the way she was, she took that extremely seriously and was like basically loyal to Clint for life. And I think she almost saw Clint as almost like a mentor, and Clint saw her as like maybe kind of like a professor student kind of thing almost.
I took
even
it-
though they were closer age wise, but that's kind of how I took it. In that she was, I just took Natasha as her. Almost her number one loyalty was to Clint over anything else.
I took it very much as they're both like kindred souls.
Right.
They're both assassins. They've both done things that they probably wish they could forget about doing and stuff they didn't like doing, but they had to do it in the name of the job or country or what have you. And so I think they found a lot of sauce in there because it doesn't seem like Clint is in love with her or that she is in love with him.
Yeah, I mean,
Clint seems very in love with his wife.
He loves his wife and
Yeah.
his children. Yeah.
So it seems like everything's kosher there.
Well, and I think from Natasha's angle as well, Natasha, we had learned she had been sterilized. And just with the way she was, Natasha was never going to have a family. Her
Right.
family was Clint, and then later the rest of the rest of the band. We'll say
the band.
the band. That was her family, and that's how she saw Clint. I think was as like that was like she would do. We found out as this whole saga went along that Natasha would do anything for her family.
Absolutely.
And that was how she saw Clint as that was her surrogate family. So I think she saw Fury the same way, in that same kind of light. But her and Clint, when you've been in battle in the trenches with someone and someone has literally, from what we gather, reached down and saved your life and decided you're not going to die today. That gives you a very special connection, and that's
deal.
what I saw between those two.
Agreed. All right. So that obviously plays a huge impact. Because I guess the way this time travel worked, everybody came back at the exact same moment.
Right.
Including Evil Nebula, I guess we can call her.
Evil Nebula.
In
2014 Nebula.
There you go, 2014 Nebula.
Evil years.
And of course, everybody notices kind of right away, there's no Black Widow here. So we do have a scene by the lake. Things get very tense. Bruce throws a bench into the lake.
Maybe over the lake.
Yeah, it's possible.
Never saw it land.
You never heard the splash. It was a little weird to me because for the second straight Avengers movie, we have I would argue, a popular female character dying a horrible death. Granted, in two very different ways. Thanos being like, bye. And the second one, Clint and Natasha fighting it out.
Both died in the same place.
Yeah. Also, real
the
quick,
same reason.
I almost thought that when they both jumped off, I was like, oh, okay, maybe
it'll cancel each other out.
Maybe, and they'll just be like, oh, you figured out the loophole. Congratulations, you guys both live. Here's a stone. Goodbye. But no, that didn't. It's not how it happened. So that was. We'll get to that point a little bit later of something that happens in the big fight scene that I was really glad that happened afterwards. Especially when you come back and it's just basically all guys talking about, female character not coming back. That's not a big deal, though. Because then it's like, all right, well, now we have the stones. We have the gauntlet built from Iron Man technology. Who's going to snap? Which now we've learned you actually just, have to snap. That's like a part of the process.
I wonder how it actually works. I mean, is it just like you get the thought in your head what you want to do and you snap? So, like, if I have the Infinity Gauntlet and I'm like, I want circa 1995 Carmen Electra and a yacht, and I snapped, I'd have Carmen Electra and a yacht?
Yep.
Damn, that's pretty cool, man.
There you go. It's Banner that eventually does it. Thor tries to because, as we remember from Ragnarok, he believes he's the strongest Avenger.
Well, and here's where I had said earlier I wanted to talk about Thor.
Okay.
Because at this point, we see Thor just about completely break down.
Yeah.
Thor, it's very funny seeing Fat Thor. Don't get me wrong. It is hilarious. I've died laughing ever since. Thor has line after line after line, which he has since Ragnarok. But you think about, like, if you really delve a little deeper into Thor at this point, think what that dude went through. That dude had PTSD out the ass at this point. I mean, this is 100% PTSD. You think about it, in the last 7 years, his mother violently killed, father violently killed, brother violently killed.
I thought just dies basically of old age.
Maybe he did. Okay. But his father died. And basically he was given this kingdom that he wasn't ready to run, which we saw was kind of an ongoing theme too. He wasn't ready for that. His brother Loki, they had this love-hate relationship, and Loki was brutally killed right in front of his face.
Back when they were at the point where they were finally like, okay, we're together.
Exactly.
No more tricks. We're actually together.
Then his brother's murdered. Thanos murders his brother. He went through this whole thing where he was unable to stop the original snap. And what happens to him? He goes off alone. Depression, alcoholism. I mean, all these signs of post-traumatic stress disorder. And it is funny because Thor's a funny drunk. But there's a reason that he's like this. And you see this point right here, and he says, I'm paraphrasing, I just want to do something good. Let me do something good. I haven't been able to do anything good. Let me do something good. And I mean, it's really, at that point for Thor, you're like, oh God, the Lebowski thing, I get it, but man,
this is sad.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sad place that Thor has
ended
up.
And because not only that, because
as someone who's so physically strong.
Yeah, and he as part of the time heist, yes, he does get to reconnect with his mother and see her one last time before she's dead, and gets some closure there. In sort of a running theme for Thor, granted, this isn't his fault, it's just the rules of time travel, he can't save her.
Right.
He does actually have a chance where he could save her. I mean, it would fuck up the timeline, but he could save her, but he can't. Because he has to go. And that's brutal. So...
Right. Yeah, I mean, and then, he saw Jane again, and he had to relive that in that little monologue he had, which we were laughing because, once again, it was funny, drunk Thor. But he was really hurting right then, I mean, he was having to relive all those emotions. So for Thor, I mean, this was like this brutal coming up moment where, we had laughed the whole time, and then suddenly it's like, oh man, this dude's he's really bad off right now, So that was really a gut wrenching moment for Thor.
But Bruce is the one that ends up doing it, as we remember from Avengers 1. The stones give off gamma radiation, and hey, guess who was made from gamma radiation? Hey, the Hulk. So Bruce is the one that does it. It nearly destroys him, but he hangs on for dear life, and he snaps. And then we wait, and then we see Clint's phone ring, and it's his wife, so we know that they've come back, and it's worked. And unfortunately, Nebula has also brought back Thanos' ship from 2014, which nobody knows because Tony had the blast doors in the room closed. So they're unaware that a giant spaceship just materialized above their base.
Right.
And then Scott Lang goes to look out, and he's like, yeah, it worked.
Well, and you see, the little things. Oh my God, it worked. He sees birds.
Yeah.
Of all things, which, come to think of it, not so you haven't really seen any animal life, because it wasn't just half of humanity; it was half of everything, every living organism. Cap had made a comment very early in the movie. Across the Hudson River and saw a group of whales in the Hudson. So there were obviously animals still left, but when he went out and saw the birds, it was like, wow. And then Clint's phone starts ringing. Yeah. And it's his wife calling.
Yeah, and you're like, yay!
Yeah, you're oh my God, everything's coming around. Then all of a sudden, Scott looks. What's that?
Dude, I thought he bit it. I thought he was dead.
Oh man.
I was like, oh God, are they really going to kill him off like this? No, he was fine. But the compound does get bombarded by laser blasts, I guess, or energy blasts from Thanos' ship. And then he comes on down along with Nebula. Nebula's already there. They try to steal the gauntlet. Clint runs off with it and gets chased down
by robot alien dogs.
Yeah. I think they were maybe the same sort of creatures that came in 2012.
Yeah.
Who knows? From the Chitauri. But so that chase scene happens.
Well, no, because by 2012, this was 2014.
Yeah, so I guess they were destroyed. It's fine.
I mean, I'm not really that worried.
It's time travel. But we do have then. So that front is happening. Banner is trying to help out Rhodey, who's been severely injured as well.
Well, he's basically been knocked out of his suit, which
Mm-hmm.
kept him from being able to do anything.
And I forget who
Rocket.
else. Rocket is with them.
So Rocket couldn't breathe.
No, he could not. So Ant-Man does go back down to try and save them. So those two things are happening, and then Tony and Steve and Thor come out and are like, "Oh, Thanos is just here. Well, I guess we should probably fight him now." And so they try to fight him, and this is where the final endgame starts, because the three of them then just go after him and try with all their might, and then everybody starts getting one of their moments.
Right.
One of the first big pop-off moments is when Thor is getting Storm
Cloud Chaser
axe being shoved into his chest, and then you see the hammer move, and you're like, oh, he's gonna bring it to him and do something cool, and it whizzes past, and who gets it?
Stormbreaker.
Fucking Steve Rogers hoisting Mjolnir up. Oh, what a fucking moment.
And that is a callback to pretty much like the best scene from Age of Ultron, which was kind of
It was okay.
Of all the Marvel movies, that one was kind of...
it was okay.
But, that scene where Steve was the only one. He couldn't pick it up, but he was at least able
Barely
to
moved.
Barely moved.
Made Thor nervous for just a second.
Yeah.
He's like,
Just a second. Just a half a second. Just kind of. But
I knew
Steve Rogers, I knew it! And of course, it gives Thor a great little moment there.
Yeah.
And Steve Rogers wielding, you say it, I can't say the name.
Mjolnir?
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 Sure.
Rides the lightning and just absolutely starts kicking Thanos'
Who's
ass.
the heroine?
Yes.
Never mind.
Captain America, my ass. Just absolutely starts pummeling him, brings down lightning.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so cool. But then Thanos strikes back, breaks Cap's shield, just like Tony Stark dreamed of in Age of Ultron. Also was pointed out, we didn't mention it, Natasha died in the exact same pose as was shown in Tony's dream in Age of Ultron. So now it's, oh god, our heroes have finally met their match. Thanos is going to do it again. And then we hear...
Well, and then he gives Steve Rogers just the moment to stand up and face the vast armies.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden we hear just this little we hear what Wes does.
Yeah.
This little radio.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Come in, Cap.
Come in, Cap.
You're like, what the fuck? Is that Sam? It's like, wait a minute, what's that Sam?
And then you hear On Your Left, which is a callback to Winter Soldier.
so much Winter Soldier-ness here.
And then all the sling ring portals that Doctor Strange creates.
That's what you call them, sling ring portals? I always call them time portals.
They're not time portals. They're not coming through
now
time.
Now that I think about it, they're not time portals. So, okay, sling. I can totally get with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he brings in everybody from everywhere. He brings in the Asgardians.
Well, and when that very first one opens, and Shuri and Danny Gurira, because I can never remember her damn name right, and T'Challa walk out, it is just like, by the way, that's where my tears started.
That's where my tears started.
Yeah, my tears totally started there. I was like,
yes! The moment. Great callback as well when T'Challa comes out and says, "Hi, Clint." To a great moment from Civil War when they're fighting the airport scene, and Clint goes, "I'm sorry, I don't think we've been introduced yet. I'm Clint." And T'Challa goes, "I don't care."
This time, hi, Clint. Yeah, I mean,
Hi, Clint.
there's literally a video on YouTube that's like 25 minutes of Easter eggs from Endgame.
It's a great one.
I mean, it's just like you can't go a couple minutes in this movie without a sweet ass Easter egg.
And so everybody comes back. The rest of the Guardians of the Galaxy come back.
Oh, my boy Drax showed up.
Along with Quill and Praying Mantis or Mantis, I think. Not Praying Mantis, just Mantis.
What was it? Rocket said earlier in the movie.
Go with the antennas.
He said, I miss my family. Quill, and Drax, and Groot. Girl with the antenna on her. Girl with the antenna.
He didn't know her that long.
Okay.
They come out. Valkyrie leading the Asgardians. All the monks coming out with Strange and Wong. And as Strange goes, "Is that everybody?" And Wong's like, "Did you want more?
Did you want more?" I mean, literally everyone. And then the cherry on the cake or on the sundae. Ant-Man goes giant and comes out and brings Hulk and Rhodey and Rocket.
And Janet Van Dyne comes back.
Oh!
The Wasp is back. Not Janet. Hope. Yeah.
And then Iron Woman.
Yeah, Rescue!
Yes!
Fucking Rescue! Oh, Rescue comes out.
Is that her actual name?
Yes, that is her actual name.
Okay, I didn't know all that.
Which they don't go with the much cooler Iron Maiden.
Oh, that would have been awesome, actually.
No, her name is Rescue.
Fuck that, Iron Maiden would have been shit.
Yeah.
But she comes out and pops it. Oh, man. By the way, I sat and recorded it the second time, so I have it all on my phone. So we're going to watch it after this.
Fantastic.
We're going to watch it. We're gonna watch 4 minutes.
Just a great scene, and then you're just like, say the line, Cap. Say the line.
For 22 movies, we've been waiting to hear these words.
Because the funny thing is, I think it's at the end of Age of Ultron. Steve is looking at the album and he's like, Avengers, cut to black.
Yeah.
Now we get it. And now we get it.
And he says it just perfectly. He doesn't have to yell it.
Assemble.
Fuck
yeah, let's go, boys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and then all the Warriors, literally all the Warriors. Oh, we've got Peter Parker. Peter Parker comes out.
Oh, God, yeah. And my boy Winter Soldier's back.
Yeah.
Fucking Winter Soldier, White Wolf, whatever the hell he's going to be called.
Oh, my God. Shit. Everybody comes out. Everybody gets their moment.
Everybody's back.
Then everybody starts. Oh, Wanda's back.
Wanda Maximoff.
Yeah, she's back. So everybody starts getting their own moment to fight. Spidey and Tony get a moment to reconnect, which is great.
Mr. Stark.
Oh my God, he was so excited, and Tony's just more relieved. Like, oh, okay.
But Tony was so excited too because we saw Tony was always too cool for school. And, we saw earlier when he saw that picture of him,
that's one of the reasons he went to go do the time travel thing.
I mean, he really, really cared for Peter Parker.
Absolutely. So that was so cool. See all the Warriors. Spidey activates his one-hit kill protocol on purpose this time.
Yeah, on purpose this time. What's it called? Insta-kill?
Yes, insta-kill. That was great.
And they were kind of playing hot potato with the and Black Panther just started fucking everybody up. God, that was awesome.
Strange has one moment where he has like 7 giant dudes with energy and then just goes slam into the ground. It's so cool. Captain Marvel comes back.
Well, and she comes back just when it looks like they're about to lose it. And really, I'm not gonna lie. If that was like one of the first things she did, that is my favorite line that she has dropped in any of her roles. When he says, "Hi, I'm Peter Parker. Who are you?" Hi, Peter Parker. It was just, that was so perfectly delivered by her. So I will, girl, I will give you that. Brie, I know we're not your biggest fans. I will give you that. That was so perfectly delivered.
That was so good.
That was so good. And then we got our feminism now.
We got hey, that's what I'm saying. We got all the women warriors moments.
Yeah.
That was cool. She's got help. She's got help.
I thought that was a little forced, but
Well,
I didn't mind it at all.
No,
it was just like
super cool.
Okay.
Still a super cool
right.
moment.
And the second time I saw it, I liked it even more than the first time I saw it. I was like, okay, I'm like, just get that out of your head, Wes. Don't worry about that shit because this is fucking cool. And the first time you saw it, you thought it was fucking cool.
It was so fucking cool.
You know.
So they try to get Peter there. Also, Captain Marvel and Wanda almost just kill Thanos on their own.
Wanda had that ass.
Yeah, she kills him if he doesn't set the ship to kill his own people.
And the way I put it, there's a military term for that is when a position is being overrun, you call danger close, and danger close means basically here's where I am, just drop it because they're on top of us.
Yeah.
So, if I die, I die, but, I'm at least going to try.
Right.
You take a shot. So he basically called danger close at that point. And that was, as you said, that's the only thing that kept him from catching it right there from Wanda.
Yeah, she's strong.
Wanda's a badass.
So yeah, Captain Marvel gets her moment where she almost kills him, and they just keep going, and it doesn't work. They try to get it to the van.
Right.
Doesn't work.
Just before they get there, Thanos hits it with a spear.
Yep. Great shot.
Yeah, I think at that point, that's where Thanos got the gauntlet.
So because the gauntlet scrambles,
Right.
he eventually goes to it. People start fighting him, trying to prevent him from snapping again.
And in that part, Captain Marvel was the one who actually kept him from snapping. She got hold of the hand and gave Stark the opportunity to
run up.
Finally get up to... Well, he literally has to take the... Hold on, I've got him right here. So, oh, damn it, no, I've lost it. Shit. Purple Infinity Stone.
Power?
He takes out... Yeah, he has to take out the Power Stone and literally jack Captain Marvel with the Power Stone to stop her. Which, once again, shows how badass Captain Marvel is.
Yeah.
It takes like an entire Infinity Stone just to get her off of him.
Yeah, she's really strong. She's very high power.
And then just when he's about to go, Stark jumps him.
Well, because he says the line that he's been saying all movie long.
I am inevitable.
I am inevitable. And so and when he snaps and nothing happens and he realizes, oh shit, there's no gems on this gauntlet anymore.
Tony Stark basically picked his pocket.
And he goes, I am Iron Man. Fuck yeah. What a fucking moment.
Basically his final line.
Yeah, it is.
And where, of course, is that? That was the line that basically built the entire franchise.
It's the end of Iron Man 1.
It's the end of Iron Man 1. And when I went back and watched Iron Man 1 this week, and he said, I am Iron Man, I was like, God damn, I'm about to cry. It's like, Tony! I mean, we'll get this a little afterwards, so we'll keep going right now. But he says it, snaps his fingers, this huge blast of light, and then we see Rocket about to get hit by one of the mouth-eating ships, whatever, and it starts to disintegrate. And everything
all the bad guys disintegrate.
And Thanos knows what's happening, and Thanos just kind of does what he does. He sits down.
He sits down just like he did at the end of Infinity War. And this time he's not resting. He's dying.
He's waiting.
And so then we have to bring Tony over. Couple people get to say their last goodbyes to him. Peter Parker gets to do the reverse of what happened at the end of Infinity War and tell him goodbye. And then Pepper tells him, we'll be okay.
That's right. That's all she had to tell him was,
and you can rest now.
We'll be okay. You can rest now.
Yeah.
And then the light goes off. Tears start to flow again.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Because, I'd just gotten over it from Avengers Assemble.
Yeah.
And now, God, why again? Why? Why is this happening to my life?
So we then go to the funeral where we send off his heart, the proof that Tony Stark has a heart.
Tony Stark has a heart. Everybody's there. Now, do you know who that random...
Yes, I do.
Okay, you know.
I know who it is.
That was the one. Had to. Me and a friend had to look that up, and it is the kid from Iron Man 3.
Yeah. That doesn't look like him. Not like he looked in the movie.
I mean, that was the most random shit of all time. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, I understand
it's
now.
Also, that it makes sense. It was like...
But when you see the first time, you're
like... You could have given us some reference to this,
Yeah. Like the Mandarin could have been standing beside him.
Seriously, I mean, it could have been anyone, but
everybody else is there.
yeah, and then we get our little satisfying moment at the end where Nick Fury walks out on the porch. And
Yeah. Poor Colby Smulders. She didn't even get to be in the fight. She literally just shows up for the funeral.
Right.
Doesn't even get to say anything.
But she was there.
She was there.
Maria Hill is back.
Maria Hill is back.
So, and I'm sure, I've got a feeling we'll see more Maria going forward, especially since we're transitioning to more female-based things as well. So,
and we still have Mr. Jackson.
Right.
Mr. Samuel L. Jackson still around.
We've got Fury back,
Yes.
not Nick Fury
Yes.
or Agent Fury, just Fury. As we fully learned in Captain Marvel, just Fury.
But everybody's there, and so the sending off happens, and then we have to send all the Infinity Stones back.
Right.
And Steve's like, I'll take it.
Real quick, one more just heartbreaking line
Go
is
for
when Clint and Wanda were talking, and
Yeah.
he said, "I just wish she had known," and Wanda said, "She knows."
They know. Yeah. It's brutal.
Because I'm out of tears at this
Yeah.
point. And there's still more to come.
Oh yeah. And so we send Bruce and Bucky and Sam send Cap back to just put them all back. It's an easy job. Just put the stones back. And then they call back to the first Captain America movie. Bucky tells, Steve tells Bucky, don't do anything stupid.
Right.
And Bucky tells him, you're taking all the stupid with you. Because he knows. I think Bucky knows at that point what's going to happen.
Bucky, I think if he had confided it in anyone, Bucky knew.
Yeah.
Bucky knew. And you could kind of see that Bucky knew. And I think if you're paying attention, you had to think this isn't going to be as easy as he's going to disappear and then reappear in 5 seconds. No, there's obviously got to be a twist here.
So Bruce tries to bring him back 5 seconds later. Doesn't come back. And then
Blue passes timestamp.
He
said
they see a guy sitting over on a bench, and so
Bucky knew immediately. Obviously,
Bucky nods to Sam. He's like,
Go talk to him.
You do it.
Yeah.
And he goes over, and we see it's very old, almost Joe Biden looking esque, which is very funny.
Actually, I thought it looked like Clint Eastwood.
I would also give you that. I would give you either one of those.
Clint, not quite as corpse as Clint is nowadays,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
definitely with the hair.
I definitely thought it was like a CGI Clint, like something.
Yeah.
They did, by the way, amazingly good job on
Again.
aging Steve Rogers or
Again.
aging Chris Evans
Yeah.
just in general. My God, I hope to look that good one day when I'm that old. Jesus.
Well, I think what happened is I imagine the serum probably makes him age a lot slower.
Right. Well, I mean that's true because at that point he would be over 100 years old.
Probably. Yeah.
I mean because let's say
Because he was young 20s in the 40s.
Yeah, so I mean he would be right at 100 years old at that point.
He's
Say if he was born in 1920 and went to
Yeah.
war in 1943, he'd be 22, 23 years old.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean he'd basically be 100 years old.
Yeah.
And actually we're
5 years.
5 years in the future, so we're in 20.
We've got 103.
Yeah, so I mean he's over 100 years old and
Yeah.
obviously still spry.
Looks great.
Yeah, looks great.
And he basically passes the mantle. He gives the shield to Sam. So we'll see if Sam takes up the actual mantle of Captain America. Becomes the new Captain America's ass.
And then Sam notices the wedding ring.
Yeah.
And says something about it. And
You gonna tell me about
you
it?
Tell me about it?
No, I don't think I will.
No, don't think I will. And I love that. That
That's
was
great.
perfect because
He doesn't kiss and tell.
Captain America's a gentleman.
Yes, he is.
And that had been said before.
Yeah.
don't kiss and tell. He's a gentleman.
Really. It's a
He's
great
got
job.
those old.
Yeah.
He's got those old mentalities. He's a gentleman. And
So Steve, and then we get the last moment. We get Steve and Peggy. Steve gets his dance.
Finally gets his dance.
Finally gets his dance, and then
Once again, when I was watching the end of Captain America, I was like, he's gonna get that dance.
He's gonna get it.
Eventually, damn it, he's gonna get that dance.
and then the credits roll, and what a great credits it is. Some of the characters signing off literally with their signatures for the last time.
Even though I don't think it's the last time we've seen all.
Well,
of
and I was about to bring it up because we did actually forget a scene. It's Thor giving over.
Right.
He makes.
Oh God, that was one of the most hilarious scenes of the whole movie.
He makes Valkyrie the leader.
Right.
So Valkyrie is the new head of all Asgardians that
She's
are left.
basically the queen of Asgard now.
Good for you, Valkyrie.
Good job, girl.
Good
job, girl.
And then Thor
gets a ride.
joins with the Asgardians of the Galaxy.
And he and Quill have a
Yeah.
lovely back and forth over who's in charge.
Weird up. It's obvious.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course. Yeah.
Of course.
It's me.
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course. Oh, of course. Of course. Big thing we didn't notice the first time, real quick, sorry. There is a screen on there showing searching for Gamora.
Right.
That's why Gamora is not.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I didn't know it. Because I didn't actually notice that on the first time.
My thoughts were that Gamora disappeared with Thanos' army.
Well, she saw Peter Quill and was like, I can't believe I've fallen in love with this dude.
This idiot.
Poor. She kicked him in the balls.
Well, she missed the first time.
Yes.
Got them both the second time. And then the funny little exchange where it was you guys want to fight about it? Oh, knives! Give them knives!
She's so weird.
Yeah, she's weird and she's great.
Palm.
Palm's wonderful. But, yeah, so Rogers had returned all the Infinity Stones, and at this moment, as far as we know, the galaxy is in safe hands. Now, apparently, Spider-Man Far From Home, which is the next movie that's coming out, I believe, July. Apparently, they're saying that is actually the true close to Phase 3.
Yes.
Because it's going to be kind of like the direct aftermath, or it's going to be more like the aftermath movie of Endgame. So, or it's going to be like directly tied to the aftermath of Endgame. So we do still have some more fun coming.
Yep. And then we had Phase 4.
Yeah, and then we hit Phase 4. But I mean, with Thor, Thor going with Guardians, he did the kind of sign-off thing. You got to figure you're going to see
I'm
Thor again.
very fine with him being in the next Guardians movie.
Jesus God, yes.
Very fine with
anything
this.
to put him in.
Yes.
Anything to put him and
Chris Pratt.
together is
So
just.
great.
I mean, that's going to be magnificent. So, Endgame. I mean, that is the end of Endgame. I mean, do we have anything to?
No, I mean, so we know. So we only actually had two people. We only had two good guys bite it the entire movie.
We had two of the original Avengers.
Yep, Natasha and
Tony.
Steve
Cap
is effectively dead.
done. I mean, he's done.
Yeah.
We might have. I wouldn't be shocked to see him pop up somewhere and him actually die. Maybe.
He gets the Peggy. Well, and that's the other thing. We also know Peggy's dead.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because we knew when she passed.
Yeah.
So he's an old widower now.
Yes.
Hulk is still around. Thor's still around. Clint is still around.
And I'm fine with like Hulk piling around in a side movie here and there now that he's the professor. And
Exactly. Or just popping up when because now that Tony's gone, Hulk's the great brain guy now. Which I mean he was already good anyway. But.
And of course now we have the next set of Avengers. We have T'Challa. We have Doctor Strange.
Right.
We have Scott Lang.
Right.
And we have Captain Marvel. And is there anyone I'm forgetting?
So we got the Guardians.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, they were kind of. I was talking about more just even though Captain Marvel kind of goes back and forth. And Clint, I guess, is it.
Yeah, I guess Clint's still around. But anyway, let's take a look at the future of Marvel. As we said, coming out this summer. The next movie due out, Spider-Man Far From Home. That's 2019.
With Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jesus, God, no. As annoying as Tom Holland can be, Jake Gyllenhaal's literally the worst human being ever. Yeah. I didn't like Jake Gyllenhaal as Spider-Man at all.
No, that's Tobey Maguire.
Oh, that was Tobey Maguire. Oh, never mind. Oh, Jake Gyllenhaal's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Hate you, Tobey Maguire. You're the worst.
That was one thing I was thinking. Could you imagine either Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield doing these scenes in Endgame? Fuck that. Yeah, fuck you, Tobey Maguire.
You suck. Andrew Garfield.
You were literally nothing.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire's.
Anyway, Far From Home comes out.
After that, it looks like Black Widow.
Maybe.
Is going to have... Well, it says here she's supposed to be having a...
We've been hearing it for a while.
Filming is set to begin in June.
Okay.
So, that could be the first 2020 movie out. Now, you might know something about this. I don't know shit about these guys, the Eternals.
I know very little.
Okay.
I've heard of them.
Well, apparently... They've got a director. Apparently, Angelina Jolie's going to be one of the main ones. Filming is set to begin in August of 2019.
Sure.
So, apparently, a superpowered offshoot of early man with functional immortality, like the Asgardians, have a heavy hand in shaping Earth's mythology. Okay, cool. Cersei, a Greek Yeah, that's got something to do with it. Doctor Strange 2 is looking May 2021.
Yay!
Rachel McAdams will be back. Yay! Always happy for my life. The one that I think everybody on Earth is waiting to see, Black Panther 2, 2021. For that one, Coogler will be back again. That's going to be. There is a rumor that Killmonger could return.
Okay.
Hell, but okay. Hell,
Sure.
Sure, I'm down with that. Something called Shang-Chi.
Yeah, their first Chinese superhero. Yep.
Yeah,
Because we got to get China.
Chinese chicken.
no doubt. Got to sell shit there. And then finally, not finally, but just in the immediate future, Guardians Volume 3.
With James Gunn back.
James Gunn is back, motherfuckers! And he's actually doing, the reason this one has actually been pushed back because, he had signed with DC and he's actually doing the new Suicide Squad, which actually gives me hope that Suicide Squad might be better than the first shit.
But it's also supposed to be apparently a reboot.
Oh. I mean, as long as they bring back my girl to play Harley Quinn again.
But it's a reboot.
Yeah, but
How
she's so freaking hot.
I know, but it's weird. DC's really weird.
That's all I'm really worried about. She's so freaking hot. Then we take a look over at the Disney Plus.
Yay,
shows.
Disney Plus!
Yeah, Disney Plus!
That's $9 a month you'll spend.
God almighty, I hope. Falcon and Winter Soldier, as we spoke about on our weekly pod.
Yep.
Looks like they're going to have a show where Sam could take up the mantle as Captain America. WandaVision.
Yeah.
Wanda could be getting her own show.
Yeah.
Which sounds pretty freaking awesome.
Elizabeth Olsen. Woo.
And it could be the return of Vision there as well.
Yeah, because he didn't come back.
Right.
He wasn't in that battle.
Right. So,
Gotta get Paul Bettany more roles.
Loki's getting his own show.
Yeah, Loki. Woo.
Because Loki definitely needs his own damn show.
Yes, he does.
And apparently Hawkeye's getting something on there.
Okie doke.
So, yeah. So there you go. There's kind of a look at everybody and what's coming. I don't know if we're going to do full movies about everything as it comes out. I mean, or full podcast.
Yeah.
But hell, you know what? We might, because we've really enjoyed doing this lately.
Yeah.
I mean, we really enjoy, when something really big comes out. And, these Marvel movies have kind of turned into a little cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
So, you know what, folks? We might make this a thing. Obviously, I mean, we do it twice a year, maybe.
Yeah, a couple times a year.
2-3 times a year.
Not a bad deal.
No, man.
Always
gives us a nice chance to see each other.
Yeah.
We love to see each other. We're so happy. So happy.
I'll give my last couple of brief thoughts on Endgame. I'm a little surprised. There's a couple people we didn't actually get to see that I thought we might. If we're bringing back literally everybody. I don't remember his name, but Martin Freeman's character from Civil War and Black Panther. Where he plays, and I think he was also in Ultron. He plays like kind of a general person. He interrogates Bucky in Civil War.
Yeah.
And then he flies the ship at the end of Black Panther.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised he did not make it into this movie. Who was the other one? Phil Coulson. Now that might also be because I haven't watched season 6 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I know it doesn't take place on Earth. I know they go to the moon base or something. So that might be why he wasn't there. But I remember because he was in Captain Marvel. So I was a little surprised that Coulson.
Well, no, that was also a throwback though. Remember
Sure,
that was back.
But
in
I meant
time.
like they could bring the actor back. They could bring Clark Gregg back. So I was a little surprised he didn't get a moment, which would have been crazy because as far as I know, all the Avengers probably think he's still dead.
Right.
So that would have been kind of interesting.
Well, he died in the original Avengers.
Yes.
So.
And then he was brought back to life.
In the show.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the show yet. That's on my.
Season 1 is a little uneven.
That's fine.
And then it gets really, really good. The thing you also have to remember is that also is part of like what starts the whole Hail Hydra thing.
Gotcha.
So that was kind of interesting how this. So I was kind of interested in how a couple of those guys didn't come back, but literally everybody else came back. It was awesome, and it was a big love letter, and it was a lot of fan service, and it was a great movie. And I don't give a fuck that the time travel didn't exactly work, because some of it's just weird and fuck you. It doesn't matter. It's a great movie. It's the one time I'm actually willing to go fuck you, shut up. It just worked.
It just worked.
So
they even tried to explain. You were still kind of sitting there like.
Well, and like even the ancient one tries to explain to Banner how like the branching theory works. And I was like, yeah, this all makes sense, but then it doesn't really make sense for what Cap does at the end. So I don't care. Fuck you.
Unless he just, I don't know, gives all the stones back at the right time.
I don't know. But it's a great movie, and I loved it, and I'm so happy, and it's amazing.
It was. I was so happy with it. I'm not one of those people who's going to sit there and pick it apart and bitch about it.
No, not this one.
The ultra feminists are pissed that it didn't highlight the women enough. But here's my argument to that. This was the original Avengers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that out of 6 of them, 5 were dudes. Be mad at 2011.
Yeah, you still got the moment.
I mean, yeah, they got the moment, but it's just crap I read, and it pisses me off after a while. And then they're saying, it was bullshit that Natalia died because that was just the patriarchy. I'm like, oh.
Well, that's why it felt weird to me, just because that she got it, just because Gamora got it the same way, and it's both women. Like I remember, because it was also kind of a big deal in Deadpool 2 that Morena Baccarin gets it like right at the beginning, like literally gets, and it's the whole thing of the main character needs his woman or whatever dying. That has to be their motivation, and it's kind of shitty, but they did it okay. So in this movie,
I mean, to me, for her, we talked about earlier, just for me, that character, that was her ultimate sacrifice that she could make.
Oh yeah, I thought it worked really well in this movie.
Yeah,
I just think having that happen in back-to-back movies, even though it was in different ways, like because Clint wanted to self-sacrifice and she didn't let him, I think it comes off better, but it was kind of awkward.
And see, to me, it makes her almost more like powerful because she made her choice.
Yeah,
and she was the one who made the choice. She wasn't forced to make that choice or anything. She made it on her own volition. So
yeah, she had to fight tooth and nail to. She had to fight tooth and nail to die.
I mean, we could have had that again. So.
That was pretty great. Time and place. You have any final thoughts?
That was great.
There you go. Do you have any final thoughts?
I'm going to see it again probably next week. So I've seen it twice. I'll see it at least one more time, if not 2 more times.
Oh my god!
I love it.
What did you see? That they're going to make an entire Blu-ray box set of all 22.
Yep.
Oh Jesus!
We were trying to guess how much that's going to cost. I'm saying $500.
Because they'll probably put some special shit in it. There will probably be a $1,000 edition of it where it's probably got like everybody signed it or something. There's probably like a poster signed by all 6 original Avengers. I bet there will be something like completely badass in it. But I'm just paying $9 a month for Disney Plus and watching them all when I feel
Absolutely. Disney Plus, if you would like to sponsor this podcast.
We have no problem going under the Disney banner, by the way.
We're totally fine. We welcome our new mouse overlords.
I have a 7-year-old that just wants to go whenever, so, if y'all can just hook me up with that, I'm down to do whatever for you guys.
That's going to do it for the Avengers Endgame cast.
Wants to go where?
Disney World.
Disney World!
You have a one-name producer who would like to go to.
Okay.
Let me just
what was that? I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
One-name producer Jackie wants to go to Disney World.
Disney World.
Cool. So that's going to do it for this episode of the cast. Thanks to NGSC Sports, Alicia Spills and Things, for helping us with this bonus content, and hopefully maybe one day Disney Plus. So for my Colin Crime, Wes Bradshaw, for one name producer Jackie, I'm Edward Green. Thank you for joining us here on the Avengers Endgame cast. We'll be back for another one of these maybe when Spider-Man Far From Home comes out in a couple months.
Why the hell not?
Why not? We love you, Tom Holland. We love you all. Thank you so much, Avengers. Good job, guys. Well done. Good job, guys.
What a decade in the making.
Fuck yeah.
22 movies.
Well done.
Even Ultron.
Yeah.
And the original Hulk.
Still counts.
Still
good job.
Guys. Great job, guys.
Well done. All right.
We'll catch you guys next time.
Yep. Peace. Love you 3000.
This show is sponsored by Alicia's Pillows and Things. Check out the Facebook page, Alicia's Pillows and Things, where you will find home decor you will not be able to resist at prices anybody can afford. Check out the pillows and stools of your favorite sports teams. Maybe you want a set of your kid's favorite cartoon or movie character. You can also get full body and neck pillows as well. Log on to ngscsports.com and go to the Alicia's Pillows and Things tab on the homepage to complete your order. It makes a great gift for Christmas at an affordable price. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on NGSCsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.